Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Manifest podcast, where our mission is simple. It's to inspire and empower you to take aligned action towards your dream life, whatever that looks like for you. Today, I have a very special guest. Pearl is a multi-passionate entrepreneur, raver at heart, and state optimization expert. She is on a mission to help other leaders and visionaries doing epic shit to achieve optimal states of well-being and create a sober rave movement where people can party while promoting health and wellness. As we've done with every episode, before we dive into this very juicy conversation, we are going to take a quick moment to ground. So, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, I invite you to close down your eyes if you're safe to do so. I always like to put a hand on my heart and one on my belly, just to connect here to my body. Just start breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. We're going to do a quick temperature check, see how we're feeling right here, right now. So we're going to start with a body scan, scanning from the top of our head to the bottom of our toes. And while we're doing this scan, breathing in through our nose, out through our mouth. Inhaling with an intention, exhaling whatever is no longer serving us. So starting this body scan up at the top of our heads, down to our ears, our jaw, our neck, our shoulders, our chest, just noticing what it feels like in these different parts of our body, noticing where our baseline is. Moving down to our arms, our forearms, our belly, our sacral, our hips, our thighs, our calves, our ankles, our feet, our toes. Just noticing where you're at, what your baseline is. And we're going to do a couple cleansing breaths together to move some of that energy. So we're going to take a nice deep breath in through our nose with our intention. And exhale through our mouth, letting go. Letting go of what we no longer want to hold on to, whether it's physical, mental, emotional. Just letting it out with the exhale. Nice deep breath in through our nose. And breathe it out through the mouth. And final one, nice deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Feel free to shake it out, make some noise, do what you gotta do to get present. Welcome to the Manifest podcast. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling so good. Thank you for doing that grounding. It was so great to just connect.
I am so happy to have you. So Pearl and I actually met on the interwebs, what was it now, over a year ago. I was on her podcast last year, and we've stayed connected. Obviously, as you guys heard at the beginning of this intro, we have very similar missions. It's a big community and a small community when it comes to the conscious sober dance space on the online space. But Pearl and I have been just cheering each other on digitally for the last year and a half, and she's just been doing some incredible things. So welcome, Pearl. Welcome to the podcast. So happy to have you.
Yeah, I'm so happy to be here. I'm so happy we stay connected through the last year and a bit, and just to see you doing your thing. I love what you're doing, and same vibe. So it's going to be a great conversation.
Why don't we start with a little bit about your journey to where you're at now?
I'm passionate about two things: helping people feel lit up and helping people party sober. They overlap a lot. I do have two businesses. I have my business, which is my state optimization health coaching, helping women optimize their energy, their hormones, like everything in their body. My background is in nutrition. I used to be a dietitian. I went to school for 6 years studying human nutrition, the body. I love the body and helping people understand their own bodies and what it means to actually create energy from within and without relying on coffee and not needing to drink to be fully expressed. I'm working on the inner work that goes along with that. I'm big into deep healing. I do a lot of somatic work with my clients. That's a big passion of mine. And then, of course, I love the party. I've been raving for 12 years. Raving and dancing and going to festivals is the best time of my life. And as I've evolved in my health journey, in my business, helping women optimize, helping myself optimize, I realized alcohol and most drugs, I'm not 100% sober, but most drugs don't really align with me. And so I'm like, well, I'm just going to party sober. And so I went on my journey to that. And now I host sober parties in the city. I do a lot of activations. I do so many things when it comes to movement and dance, helping people get into their bodies and let loose for fun as well as for healing.
I love how aligned our missions are. I feel really similarly in terms of the desire to support people. It's taking your own personal journey, which is so specific and so unique, and finding a way to create and share and expand. I mean, there are so many people out there that just want to be in their joy, that want to be in their play, that want to have fun, but they don't really know what that means. I've talked about this a little bit on the podcast before, but for those who don't know, you mentioned that you do some somatic work with your clients. What does that mean?
Yeah, great question. So, somatic work is using the body. Soma is a Latin word that means the body. So, somatics is the art or the science of working with the body to release and heal through movement or breath or music or just using the body in different ways. So tapping is considered somatic work, breath work is considered somatic work, dancing with the intention of healing is considered somatic work. So I do it in the form of dance. I'm a dancer as well. Dancing's been such a beautiful thing for me to work with my inner world, to heal, help me grieve a lot of big things that happened in my life, and also helps me anchor in and create different energies and experiences and rewrite certain stories in the body through movement. And so I use this modality. I've created a special method. It's called the Magic Moves Method, and I help women rewrite their whole entire story with movement and dance.
What does that look like?
First, we sit down and talk about some of the biggest things that are blocking, whether it's mindset blocks or subconscious beliefs that are holding you back. And so, for example, this woman has this big desire to just control everything, and everything has to be perfect, and oh, if she doesn't control it, it's not going to work out, and she puts a lot of pressure on herself to perform a certain way, to look a certain way. She's a business owner, she is a really successful woman, she just doesn't feel fulfilled. She's not having fun. She doesn't access her joy. She's just needing to control everything, and it has to be a certain way, and it must be put. And so we dove into that. And so the beginning of the session, it's kind of like a therapy session, but we're talking about, hey, where did that come from? What does your body make that mean? What do you feel in your body when you think about this? What's to remind you of? What memory is this attached to? And almost every time I do this with a woman, it's attached to a childhood thing, something that happened in the childhood, something their parents said, something that happened at school. So then after that, I get the big themes and I get the big feelings and anything else associated with the body. And then I usually create the personalized playlist. And then through the playlist, I facilitate and guide with my voice and different music, different songs, different energies to help her release certain things that are trapped in her body. So helping her connect to her body, helping her release any trapped emotions, just feeling where it is. So it's really a body-led journey. I'm just facilitating a little bit, really letting yourself drop into the body, and the body will help you heal because the body is so incredibly intelligent. And yeah, releasing a lot of heavy shit through movement in 30 minutes. At the end of the session, everyone feels literally like a different person. They're liberated. They're feeling like they healed so much. They're crying. It's such a beautiful experience. So that's the work I do. Well, one of the things I do with women.
I've been seeing you posting a lot and sharing a lot about your journey as an entrepreneur. I know that you have invested in various coaches, that you've done different types of masterminds. I'd love to hear a little bit about your journey of what that growth process has looked like, where you're at with it now, and if there's any advice you could give to people that are, if the whole desire of this is to take aligned action towards your dreams, you're clearly finding a way to make your passion your paycheck. You're figuring out a way to take something that is super aligned with you and create a business off of it. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, thank you. So I've been an entrepreneur since 2020, and I think my journey, everyone's journey obviously has so many ups and downs, ebbs and flows. A lot of things have happened in the last 4 years. And I think when I first joined, of course, the reason a lot of us start businesses is to give, to serve. Oh my gosh, I just had this massive transformation in my life. I want to help others experience the same thing. Oh my gosh, and it's beautiful. And then along the way, I got lost in the sauce somewhere. In my experience, I was following a lot of people, a lot of coaches, a lot of business owners. The online space has shifted a lot. And I also have been a little bit wobbly in my journey. That looked like me being oh, I'm all in my business. And then I wouldn't get a sale or clients wouldn't show up. So I'd be oh, fuck, I quit, it's too hard, blah, blah. Then I'd go get a job. And I'd be okay, but it's my soul's purpose to share my gifts. It was a really big emotional journey, and my mindset wasn't where I need to be for me to sustain growth. So I was up and down. I'd make money and I wouldn't, and I'd make money and I wouldn't. And I didn't have this consistent, and maybe it's not always linear because it's not, but in the last 4 years, I
No.
still have not yet figured out the consistency part, which is coming, I know. But a big part
Yeah.
of that is me getting attached to the money and, oh, I'm not making money now. So that means I'm not good. And oh, this, like, oh, I didn't make enough sales, or like I'm behind, and all these inner narratives. And of course, through this journey, I believe entrepreneurship is the biggest personal development journey you'll ever go on. Learning about, oh
Beyond.
my God, beyond learning about my own inner shit, my childhood, how it's affected me, healing through that. And of course, I'm still doing it. It's a journey. And then recently realizing, holy shit, there's so many things that I've been lost in the sauce about and not aligning myself with my true desires in business. So the last 3, 4 months, I've been really shifting my focus, my energy. People have been seeing it. I've been getting opportunities. Things are aligning to me. Yeah, and I know it's all going to happen, but I would say my advice is stay connected to your soul and yourself at all times, and don't lean away. Don't be afraid of doing the work, because actually doing the work is going to get you closer to who you need to be able to hold your business, to be able to serve your people. And knowing that it's going to be a journey, you're going to have all these ups and downs, and having some solid support in your life, whether that's a coach or a friend or a business bestie or your dad.
People who get it, people who get what you're going through. Being an entrepreneur, especially a solo entrepreneur, can feel so isolating. I did a solo episode a couple days ago where I was like, I feel like I'm on top of the world, and then everything sucks and things are amazing and then things are horrible. And it's not like this happens every few weeks, every few months. This happens multiple times a day where I'm like up here, I'm down here. It is like psycho crazy, and you feel like a crazy person. And then I was feeling, you're laughing. I know you're laughing because you fucking get it. But I've talked to other solo entrepreneurs and they're like, no, I feel exactly the same. And I'm like, I feel crazy. Like,
I'm obsessed.
I'm like, let's just be fucking real about it. This shit's
Dude,
hard.
it is so hard. And I've been talking a lot about this because no one shares that real journey. People come online, they want to grow a business, follow people that are real, that are authentic, that are
Yeah.
raw. I made the mistake of following mostly only women that are business coaches and that were only talking about the money they were making and how amazing their life was, and they were traveling and just sharing the highlights. And not that that's a bad thing, but they weren't sharing the whole story. They weren't
The hard
sharing
shit.
when they were
Yeah.
breaking down and crying, when they were frustrated, when they were upset, when they were questioning their life. So I'm like, holy shit, something's wrong with me because I'm fucking feeling like this all the time, but they're making all this money and feeling amazing. I'm like, what the fuck? And I was getting in my head and getting so distracted and like, oh my God. And so that's why right now I'm sharing my journey so raw online, because I think it needs to be shared. You can't just be like, oh,
Totally.
everything's good, and just, yeah, being a human, because we are human and we feel things, and also understanding that we get to give ourselves the tools to regulate our emotions and to support ourselves and to, go through the ebbs and flows. But I think it's so beautiful when you're in it. You're like, oh, I'm not alone, thank God, like,
Totally.
holy shit, okay, cool,
Totally.
I got this.
And the social media part of it is just so funny to me because I've been really doing a ton of live events
Yeah.
recently. And I started up in December. And the minute I started posting about these things that I was doing in real life, so many people started reaching out to me being like, oh my God, this is so cool. So there's like a duality to it, right? Where it's like, yes, share your shit, tell people what you're doing. But to your point, be fucking honest about what's going on, because it's like, nobody knows. If you do an event and you post about it and you have 10 people or you have 100 people, if you're talking about the event and you're talking about what the event was, how you're facilitating it, what the purpose of it is, what you're doing, people are going to see that more than how many people actually walk through the door. So it's almost like every single thing that you do live, you get to do it twice. You get to do it once for the people that are there and once for the people that wish they could be there. And it's a beautiful opportunity, but it also can be a little bit, but I think it's the mindset
Yeah.
element. Because we have this platform, every single thing that we do matters so much, because it doesn't matter if only 5 people show up in person. There could be 500 people that see it online. And if the purpose is to share and give this experience to as many people as possible, we now have a platform and an opportunity to do this.
Exactly. And I think the biggest piece there is the mindset piece. You're doing amazing work. Doesn't matter if it was just only 3 or 5 or 10, whatever. Like, you are doing amazing work, and
Right.
it's your energy and how excited you are about the thing. If you're like, oh, only 10 people signed up, I'm like, yeah, I was, oh my God, 10
That's
people
10
were there and I
people.
had the best time of my life. So my best events literally were the most intimate events. I had one a couple months
Right.
ago. 8 women showed up in person and they had the best experience of their life. And that's what matters. So just the mindset
Totally.
and your conviction and your confidence, and just not getting lost in the sauce in the social media space, and keeping yourself grounded, honestly. So
I think the thing that comes to mind with that conversation is remember your why. What are you doing this for? What's the purpose? Are you doing this so you can make $1 million? Are you doing this so that you could have 1 million followers on Instagram? Or are you doing this so that 1 million people are impacted by the work that you do? Are you doing this so that you make $1 million so that you can pour even deeper into having a larger impact? And what is that impact that you're desiring to have? Right? It's just coming back to that center point, because it's so easy to get lost. And to your point, what we were talking about earlier of feeling crazy and feeling like, as an entrepreneur, as somebody that's building your own business, as somebody that's seeking your dreams, there's so many skills that need to happen. The mission is so important, but the mission's not enough. You need the mission, and you need to have sales skills, and you need to have organizational skills to be able to hold the containers, and then you need to be able to have marketing skills, and then you need to be able to, and so it's like this process of building all this up, but underneath all of it, to what we've been just talking about, it's the mindset that is the most important part. Because at the end of the day, the only way that you fail anything is by giving up. But I will put like a caveat to that, and I'm curious to hear your experience with this, where you were talking about how you go all in on your business and then go get a 9-to-5 and then go back all in on your business. I'm curious, there definitely is an element to, you can't be creative and be in your purpose if your base needs aren't being met. And I think that's the piece that so many people, one, get stuck on. They're like, I'm not going to start because I can't. Or two, they're like, how do you do this? And I'm curious to hear what your experience with that has been.
Wow. Yeah, that's such a good conversation, and something I'm still figuring out, because I don't want to be, and I have been in the past, where I was putting so much pressure on myself, my business, to make money, that I started showing up differently. I started showing up misaligned.
Right.
I started really being pushy and salesy. I need the clients. Please work with me. And that's not the energy. It's like,
Right.
for me, I want to really be in a place where, like, okay, I am so supported and I have enough income coming in, so I don't need, like, if my business pops off in the next year, 2, 5, 10, I don't care. I'm here to serve, because eventually it will make money,
Right.
but it's not like right now it needs to happen or else I'm not going to be able to afford my bills. That's not the vibe. And for me, it's been a long journey of learning this, because I'm still up
Yeah.
and down, but really trying to maintain my energy. And that means I need to have support in the back end, like whatever that looks like, whether that's another job or you work the job and you save money or whatever works for you.
Yeah.
Everyone has to find their balance. And for me, I've worked jobs actually ever since I burnt out really, really hard in my business. I've actually always had a job in my business, but it hasn't always been aligned, or sometimes it doesn't support
Right.
my business. Like, I can't work my business because my job is so draining. So now I'm trying to find, okay, what is the most aligned job for me? Because I have a job right now, but it's not really aligned. So I'm looking for a different one. And so
Totally.
figuring out that flow and knowing that, yeah, putting the pressure off, like taking it off of the business. And honestly, since I took the pressure off, so much has changed in my business, how I'm showing up, I'm giving more, I'm serving more. Because it's really, how much value can you give for a consistent amount of time, and then you'll get the benefits eventually, right? But it's just the giving, the
Totally.
being of service. I'm still figuring it out, but the energy I want to be in needs to be there consistently, I believe, for my business to give me consistent income eventually.
I think this is just a conversation that is not had
Yeah.
enough, to be completely honest, especially as you're building something. Like, it's hard and it's difficult too. I'm starting these events and I'm working with different coaches, and they're like, do it for free. You have to do it for free, because if you want people to show up, you have to hone the product. You have to make this,
Yeah.
you have to make it to a point where there's fucking lines out the door, and then you're like, all right, now I'm going to charge, because now there's a demand for this thing that I'm creating. And I think specifically in what we're doing, it's not so cut and dry. People don't necessarily automatically prioritize play and pleasure, even though they should be, but that's a part of the work that we do. I always say, I'm like, what's the fucking point of working your ass off to have this life if you're not enjoying your life?
Seriously.
If you are, I've seen so many people that are successful on paper that are fucking
Same.
miserable. And they're
Yeah.
miserable because they're not prioritizing enjoying their life. They're waiting until they turn 50 to retire to travel, or 60 or 70. And then they get to that point and they've lived their whole life never having done that before. And then they're like, I don't even know how to enjoy myself. And learning these practices, you don't need to earn this. This isn't like, oh, once I this, then I'll that. It's like, no, learn how to enjoy now, wherever you're at. You go to different countries places where people literally have nothing. They literally have the clothes on their back and they live in a hut and they are smiling from ear to ear. Why? Most of them because they're dancing and they're singing and they're playing and they're tapping into their creativity and joy and they're happy. It's so simple.
Yeah, I know, but I think also being in outside the world, we're exposed to so much all the time, especially with social media. So we get in our
Right.
heads, we lose the focus of happiness. But it's like, oh, but I need this and I need that and I need more and I gotta do more, I gotta make more, I gotta work more, it's this more consumption capitalist. It takes us away from our joy. If we can maintain our joy while building the
Right.
things, while working, that is so, so incredible. Yeah, that's the biggest battle I find with me and my clients living in North America, the
Right,
energy of
right.
the, oh, more, you gotta make more, you gotta status and this and travel. And it's like, but yeah, being able to have that happiness is key. Happiness is everything. I've been miserable for a big part of my life, even making money. And I was like, this is not worth it. It's not, it sucks.
No.
And so yeah, so what you're doing is incredible, like bringing joy and dance and play to so many people that
Yeah.
need it. And yeah, obviously the beginning parts can be challenging, even with me doing it for free or low cost or losing money. I lose money on a lot of my events, but I know that I'm making an impact and in the long run it's going to pay off. And so that's okay.
And then you're building that momentum. Truly, I'll say in the last few months, what you've been sharing, what you've been posting has inspired me so much because I'm like, wow, I've been desiring to be on stages and I've been desiring to support more people and I've been desiring to step even deeper into what I'm doing, and seeing you as an example of somebody else who's doing it is just like confirmation. I think that's a big piece too. You don't even remember or know.
Yeah.
You don't know who you're inspiring just by being you. And it can feel crazy because people reach out to me and they're like, wow, I'm so inspired by you. And I'm like, I'm literally in a ball right now crying, feeling stressed and overwhelmed, but yay that you are inspired by me. But then I'm not, but then I am, but then I'm not. And it's like, it's the duality of life. Like, it just, if anybody is saying that they are not feeling that, like, you're lying.
Yeah, it's definitely a duality for sure. But it's also how long you're in each energy, right? Of course, we're all going to feel the
Totally.
feels. But from my experience personally and from working with so many women, we can get stuck in the negative and the spiral and the
Yeah.
overwhelm and the stress and oh my gosh. And there's also so many tools and ways and to support yourself to feeling elevated instead of like ignoring your emotions. You actually learn how to
Getting stuck in
process
it, how to
them.
move through it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
process them.
My favorite thing is when I'm feeling just awful. Like, I called my sister once when I was kind of in like a deep hole, and she was like, have you walked outside today? And I was like, no. She was like, have you drinking water today? I was like, no. She's like, have you meditated? Have you journaled? We have all of these tools. Have you done any of those? I was like, no. She's like, go for a fucking walk, Amanda. Go outside. And then I'll go for a walk and I'm like, I feel
Yeah.
amazing. The world is my oyster. Like, it's just, we know what to fucking do, but sometimes we just need that reminder of what to do. And I think, to anybody listening that's been following my journey or is following the journey of Pearl or has been following any of us and you're like looking up to us or pedestalizing us in any capacity, here's your reminder. We all go through the shit. All of us, every single person, we all go through it. And dance for me is a big piece of it. That's why I want to share it, because maybe meditation's your thing. Maybe yoga's your thing. It's finding what works for you to process and move through whatever it is. And it can also shift and change at different points in your evolution.
Exactly, for sure. Like I've used almost every single tool in the books. And I think it's like figuring out what ones resonate the most with you. I use many tools all
Right.
the time, right? But for me, dance has been the most pivotal to help me shift my emotions and process emotions in a really effective amount of time and get out of my slump and continue on the path. The work I do with movement and dance, all the things, I'm like, okay, cool, it works for me, but does it work for others? And testing it out. And
Right.
again, test what you like, leave what you don't. For some people, it's meditation, it's tapping, it's dancing, it's breath work, it's yoga. There's so many tools out there, but figure out what one for you and like use it when you need it, right?
Yeah. I'm curious, did you have examples? I know that you said that you follow a lot of coaches. What was the thing that got you to be like, this is the work that I want to do? Was there someone that you saw? Do you come from a line of entrepreneurs? I'm curious how you ended up down this path of being of service in this
Yeah,
way.
that's a good question. My dad was an entrepreneur, but I didn't really witness him in entrepreneurship because he was an entrepreneur before I was born. He had me really late. My dad built a couple businesses and sold them and then was doing private investing, trading online when I was living with him. And so for me, I've always known I want to help people, and that's always been a big part of my life. And I've always known I want to dance. Like those two things have been standard since I was literally a little kid. And so yeah, just learning about, okay, well, how can I help people? What am I passionate about? I really loved dance and movement and fitness and health and having energy, eating healthy. And I was like, oh, I want to help people with this. And so that evolved. I went to school for dietetics. I learned to be a dietitian, which is all about nutrition and eating. And then I realized that wasn't really aligned. I wanted to work my own business. So I started out being a nutritionist, online health coach. And then after working with women, I was like, oh, there's something more here. Okay, they're eating healthy, but there's a gap. So I learned more about emotions, about the mind, about the body, and went deeper and deeper over the years. And now it's become this method that I teach that it's not just nutrition, but it's nutrition and movement and emotions and nervous system and hormones and all the things I've learned in the past 10 years that I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
this has been working really well. And so just helping women understand all the pieces that it takes to feel incredible, have joy, improve your mental health, all the things. So yeah, I've always been of service since I was younger. And I think it's just evolved as I followed my nudges. I followed the, oh, help people do
Totally.
this. And I'm like, okay, there's more here. And like just following the pull, I would say, has really helped me create this.
I'd love to hear about your mentorship experience. When I came into this world and I started learning about coaches, I thought it was a bunch of bullshit. I was like, this is so stupid and such a scam. And then when you like really think about it and you're like, actually, all of the most successful people in the world in whatever industry they're in have coaches and mentors and people that are a few steps ahead of them, showing them the way to support them in getting there faster. And I know you're really deep in it with your coach and mentor, so I'd love to hear about how you got involved, what your experience with that has been, and how that supported you in continuing on this path and up leveling in the way that you have.
Yeah, ever since I was young, I was doing track, sports, dance, like whatever it is, there's always someone. Like I've always had a coach, so I'm very normalized with having a coach to help me
Right.
improve, to help me do better, to help me win my races, dance better. Even in school, you have teachers, they teach you, they coach you, they mentor. And so that's always been a big part of my life. So when I became an entrepreneur, it makes sense to get someone to help you do that because building a business takes time and effort and knowledge and skills. And so I'm like, okay, let me get a coach. And so I've had so many coaches. Honestly, I've invested in so many programs. It's like almost ridiculous.
Same.
And also there's a
Same.
flip side to it. I've gotten so much support. I've invested into so much. And there's internal stuff that has gotten in my way. There's also, on the flip side, some coaches that weren't a good fit for me. We didn't align. We didn't have the same values, and it didn't really work. And so it's like a journey. It's kind of like finding your soulmate or finding a boyfriend or whatever. It's like you gotta date around. You gotta try things out. It's a very expensive lesson. I've invested in so many things, but mentorship and coaching is literally so valuable when you implement it, when you do the work, when you find someone that's aligned with you, that has similar values, mindsets, and just approaches life in a similar way. Having a coach is like the recent one who I love. Her name is Bridget Ling. If you don't know her, follow her. And I've been in her world for a while, and I've been able to build a relationship with her that's been amazing. And so she invited me to her conference in Florida in November. I facilitated some dance and movement activations at her conference, finding the person you know you want to work with. And you can have more than one coach for sure for different areas of your life. Just make sure they're aligned, make sure you really have a clear idea of what you need, of who you are, of how you operate, and just to make sure you have the best success. And also get out of your own way, like actually do the things, take the action, do the stuff. That was a big piece for me. I didn't
Yeah.
do the stuff. I was like, fuck.
There's a version where you're planning and you're prepping and you're thinking about it, but you're not actually doing it. The doing it is where it all happens. I sat down with a friend of mine on Monday. We ended up in a few hours deciding to collaborate on a business, but instead of sitting there and just theorizing about what it would look like, we're like, cool, let's put it into action. Let's organize an actual event. Let's do it. Let's just start messy, iterate, figure it out, and just do it. Because I would say if anybody's listening and you're like, where do you even begin? It's figure out what's the thing that you want to do and then go try it. And you're going to be bad at it. It's going to suck. The first time you do it is not going to be good. Talking about mindset shit, breaking through that, because I think that's the thing that holds people back from trying new hobbies, from starting businesses, from doing anything new, is that they're like, they don't want to be bad at something. And you have to. Like, you You have to be bad in order to get good. That's how it works.
It's literally the only way you learn. I think along the way, actually so funny, something I was talking about with the client I did the session with before this, like one of the biggest thing that stopped her is looking stupid. Like she didn't want to do anything new or
Yeah.
do any because she didn't want to look stupid or mess up. And that's something that's huge. But like, how do you learn how to do anything? You gotta try it. You gotta be willing to look stupid and learn. That's how we evolve as humans. How you learn how to walk, how you learn how to talk.
Yeah, like when you're a baby, you're gonna be
I
wobbly and you're
know.
gonna fall
It's
over and
okay.
you're gonna scrape your
Yeah.
knee and it's gonna be okay. You're gonna get back up, you're gonna try
Yeah, but
again.
as adults, I think we lose that sense of like, oh my God, and like there's more pressure for some reason as an adult, and like we have more things that come up in our mind, and so we lose that childlike curiosity. And oh my gosh, like, but staying connected to that,
Right.
like the only reason you can be an entrepreneur is if you're willing to fail and fail and fail and fall and fall and fall over and over and over again, and then
Fail
get back up.
fast. You fail fast, fail fast, fail
Yep.
often. Keep going. Keep doing it. And keep doing it. And keep doing it. Do it over. Do it over. Do it over. And keep getting back up and keep getting back up. There's no failure here. The only way you fail is if you stop.
Exactly.
So if you get another job and you continue pushing forward with your business and you're doing it, even if it's on the side, even if it's part-time, even if it's this, like, that's okay. It's all okay. I had a conversation with this girl yesterday. She was asking me about my sales gig because she saw on LinkedIn that I did the sales gig, which I hated, but I needed it. I hated it, but I had to do it, and it was what allowed me to do what I'm doing right now. And it gave me a few months to get to do what I'm doing. But she was asking me about it, and I was like, well, what is your ultimate goal? And I think that is the biggest question for anybody that's doing anything. It's like, what's your dream? If money wasn't a thing, what would be the thing in this world that you would want to do? And she knew immediately, which most people don't, but she had like an immediate answer for it. I think it was something with teaching voice. Like she just had this dream and this vision of this business that she wants to build. And I was like, okay, so as you're looking for whatever it is that you're looking for job-wise right now, what type of a job do you need that's going to support you, that's going to give you your base needs, but is going to allow you the freedom and flexibility, the bandwidth. Like it's not going to burn you out. You're going to have enough bandwidth to start pouring into your business, because where I think people get confused is they're like, oh, I'm going to do this job and then I'm going to start my business. It's like, no, 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 no. You need to start putting just like little baby steps towards it. Because if you sit there and you just think about it, and you're like, oh, one day, it will
Yeah.
never happen. The one day will never happen if you don't start. And start small, start easy. I started my podcast while I had 2 other businesses going. And now this is one of my main, I'm doing a million things right now, but I was just thinking when you and I met, I was a coach for No Fun. I was starting a Manifest, and I had a full-time 9 to 5. And I was doing all of that at the same time. And it allowed me to get a manifest to a point where now it's a well-oiled machine. It's going. And now the podcast is going off. Now I'm shifting my focus to live events. And I'm like, what does that look like? How do I build that wing of the business? And so it's just these little pieces. I'm curious, like, I know you had the podcast, you've been doing your coaching stuff. I know you want to step into speaking. Like, what does that kind of progression look like for you? And I guess my big question for you is, what's the dream? What is your dream? And maybe let's say for 2025, and then what's the big dream?
I love that. So much goodness there. And just to like what you shared made me think of like something I heard, I don't know from who, but like when you take the first step, the next step appears.
I think this is a Martin Luther King
Something
quote.
like that.
I think it's when you take the first step, the staircase
Something
appears.
like that. Like you literally won't know until you take the first step. Like, oh, cool. And then the next step, like, oh, cool. And like it evolves. Like it's an evolution, but you have to start. And the sooner you start, the sooner you'll know and learn. So for me, first it was, I want to help women. Amazing. So I did that. I'm like, oh shit, there's more here. They're really emotional. I gotta figure out how to help them with their emotions. And I gotta figure out my emotions first, because I believe in being fully embodied with anything I teach. So like, okay, let me work on my emotions. Okay, cool. There's movement here. There's dance. Oh, then my sister died. I'm like, oh my God, I'm really sad. Oh shit, let me process the sadness. Let me figure out how to be happy again. Because I was depressed for months. I was like, oh fuck. Okay, cool. Oh wow, this is how the brain works. Learn courses. How else does this work? And it's steps and steps and steps. And I'm like, okay. Again, being curious is so important along this journey. Okay, well, how do I improve my anxiety? How do I stop having panic attacks? How do I improve my period? I wanted to feel as epic as I could. How do I improve my sleep?
Right.
How do I improve my energy levels? How do I clear my skin? all the things, did it for myself. I'm literally feeling better than I ever have in my life. Okay, how do I help others do this now? Okay, this, okay, that didn't work. Okay, maybe this, that, okay, now I'm like, great, I figured this out. Now, how do I get it out to people? Business, entrepreneurship. Do I want to speak? Networking. Okay, let me go to an event.
Yeah. Yeah.
I met someone who wants me to speak on her stage. Cool. Pitch myself. Hey, I do this. Host my own events. No one's hosting fun parties. I want to be sober. Host my own parties. Cool. Did that work? No one came. This actually really worked. Can I ask someone to promote? Like literally, and just keep moving. Ideas come up. Cool. Be curious. And that's my whole journey has just been like idea. Cool. Do it. Be curious. Did it work? Okay. Next thing.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's evolved so much. And now, okay, this year my goal is right now what I'm working on is really building my brand really strongly. So this is a bold, big vision I have, which is wild, but I'm going to claim it because if you don't dream big, you can't make it happen. So the big vision is to help women optimize their state and understand how to operate as a woman. And I want to be the woman version of Tony Robbins and host the most epic conferences and dance parties and somatic experiences and just help thousands of women in a room shift their state and shift their energy and heal in a couple days because it's gonna be transformative. And so that's the big vision. Right now I need to build my
I
brand
love.
about around it, right? And so building my brand, working on getting my name out there, serving more women, getting my method out there, helping people, build my coaching business, all the things. And eventually, once I'm well known, I'll start doing bigger events and more events. And I also have Bio Rave. I think eventually they're gonna have to combine because I don't think I can do two big businesses. But right now, Bio Rave, I do sober dance parties in the city. So that's the big vision. That's my year vision. And yeah, how about you? I want to
I
hear your
love.
big vision.
It's really similar, and that's why I think it's so cool. I feel like I keep meeting people that are just like, we are all holding a very similar mission. I feel similarly to you of just like take the step and the staircase appears. I'm not 100% clear as to where I'm going, but I know what direction I'm going in, if that makes sense. I know that my goal and my overall mission is to have as much impact as humanly possible to support as many people as I can in feeling more connected to themselves, connected to others, tapping into play and intentionality. Like those are my main pillars, is like connection, intentionality, and play.
Mm,
And the methods through which to do this are across the board, right? It's speaking, it's dancing, it's really embodying the archetype of an expander, right? Like when you go to a festival, when you meet certain people, you have these experiences in life where you meet someone or you go somewhere and
yeah.
it expands your capacity and your understanding of what's possible, and then learning the tools to integrate that expansion into your own life. I think Burning Man is a great example. I remember the first time I went to Burning Man, my mind was just like blown open with like, wow, the world could be like this? Holy shit, wow. And then I went back home and I was sad and I was depressed and I was like, why isn't the world like this? And then through the years, going back, coming back, learning, I was like, wait, I can make my world like this. And if my world is like this, your world, like, and then you start to create, and it's that integration process. It's like, I've talked about this when I talk about plant medicine on the podcast as well, where I'm like, people think that you're going to take this magical pill and everything's going to shift and change and your world's going to be different. And it's like, no, 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 no. What plant medicine does and what expansion experiences do is it shows you the direction, it shows you the way, and then you need to do the work to
Yeah.
arrive there and figure out how do you integrate that experience, that level of joy, that level of play every single
Yeah.
day. How do you turn on the music in the morning and dance a little bit? How do you move through when you're feeling depressed? Not toxic positivity, not pretending to be something that you're not, but truly learning these tools, learning these skills and incorporating them and giving yourself fucking grace as you're navigating the waves. That's all a big part of it. And it's cool to hear so many people with this shared mission, with this shared vision, because we can all do it. The more of us doing it, the better. The more of us embodying this possibility, the better. That's why I was so excited to have you on the podcast, because we have such a crossover in audience of people that are leaning into this work, that are curious about this work, that want to know more. And it's like, hey, she's doing it. She's doing it. They're doing it. They're
Yeah.
doing it. Like, I could do it. Cool.
Yeah, the more people that are doing it and like you can see examples in the world and you have literal physical, it's just like breaking the 4-minute mile. Until someone does it, you're like, what the fuck? Like, oh, Can I do it?
Yes,
Oh my God. And you like, yeah, I can. And like it gives you motivation to expand into what you truly desire. And honestly, I believe at our core as humans, we are play, we are meant to expand, we are joy, we are lightness, we are curiosity. And coming back to that essence in us, obviously it's in different levels in everyone, but really like how can we be more joyful, more play, more energized, more, and that is how life is supposed to be, in my opinion. The more of us
yeah,
that can get on that level, that is when the world is really going to shift in terms of frequency, energy, like things are going to. I'm listening to a
totally.
book right now and it's incredible, and it talks about how once enough people in the world get to a certain vibration, there will be no more poverty. A lot of things in the world will start to shift, like the new world, if you heard about that. The more people can elevate, things are going to start to shift, and so get on, come on, join the party, let's go.
Yeah, we're raising the frequency and shifting and showing people what's
Yeah.
possible. We get to be those expanders, that way shower, that like just the embodiment of possibility. Like my favorite thing right now when I have conversations with people is just watching their wheels start to turn. And not even trying to, just by being. Like my friend Adam has this amazing quote. He says, "We are the human permission slips."
Yes.
Just by us being in our authenticity, by us being who we are, we're just showing people what's possible. We're not creating something new. This has been around for generations and generations. Cavemen were singing and dancing around the fire and coming together in community and telling stories to each other. What I feel like we're doing is we are the mirror of remembrance. We are reminding people like what we already knew, what we already know in our bones. And that's why it feels so good,
Mm,
because it's familiar. It's just gotten so diluted and so lost. And I
mm.
think, to your point, North America specifically is just so deep in it, and everybody's watching and looking and reading and learning, but very few people are in the doing.
Yes, that what you just said, like I have goosebumps. I don't know, something you just said, I was like, yep, that is it. It's the remembering of who we are at our core as human
Yeah.
beings, remembering the nature of being a human and connecting and dancing and play and laughter and shared connection and joy and all the things. Like that is what anyway, yes. Everything you said, like yes, more please.
Delicious. Yes, more please. Well, this was so much fun. I'm so happy. I'm so excited to continue to witness your evolution. Keep going, keep sharing, keep growing, keep inspiring. I am so personally inspired by you. I know that there are so many people that love what you're doing. I want to give you the opportunity before we leave to plug and share anything that you might want to share. We're going to put your Instagram handle down in the show notes below. So if you guys want to connect with Pearl, check below and you could find that. But yeah, take it away.
Amazing. I love this conversation so much. Thanks for having me. If you want to connect with me, you can connect me on Instagram. My handle is below at PearlCC. If you want to look at what I'm doing with Bio Rave, it's at bio.rave. Come into my world. Come see what's up. I have a free community. I go live every week. I do really fun activations. We have dance parties. I do somatic work. I do some coaching and answering questions. I just like to share what I'm doing and how I've elevated myself and created the energy and the things I'm doing in my life. So come join a free community. Come connect. Come say hi. I love to have you there, and that's probably the best place to start.
Amazing. Well, this was so much fun. If you guys haven't already done so, please subscribe. Pearl and I are both real people. My Instagram will be down below. So if this conversation sparked anything in you, you want to continue the conversation, feel free to message either of us. Thank you guys, and we will catch you on the next one. Bye.
Bye.